Christina from class 2 grade 3. And before I dive into my speech, I'd like to share a personal story from my winter holiday. I have 2 adorable puppies. They were and still are incredibly cute. However, as many of you may know, no matter how hard you try to teach your puppy to pee on a specific spot, sometimes they'd like to give a surprise somewhere else. Believe me, no one really enjoys finding those surprises, except for my dad. When he noticed one, he'd shout at top of his lungs like, "Oh my god, there's pee!" And then he'd simply walk away. I'd stand there looking at him, half expect him to do something about it, like grab a bowl and clean the mess up, but he didn't. And no one judged him for it. I mean, except for me and my sister, but beyond our immediate family, no one else seemed to think twice. And strangely enough, if he were to wash the dishes or use the automatic cleaner, he'd be praised for helping out. Now, let's pause and ask, how often do we hear a similar thing about our moms while the ones doing housework day in and day out? When we were young, we were taught some traditional ideas like men work outside, women stay at home, so we naturally think that it is their responsibility. But we never really stop to question where this idea comes from, or if it still makes sense in today's society. So I started to trace the origin of this idea and understand the reason why women have been oppressed in the family, and here's what I found. Before we go back in history, we should all agree on a fact I mentioned earlier. I know some of you might be thinking that in my family we have a housekeeper, or my dad teaches with the chores, so it's like equal. But let's look at numbers. According to 2024 data from China, the average citizen spend about 2 hours and 45 minutes on unpaid housework, and women spend about 3 hours and 29 minutes, which is twice as much as men spending on these responsibilities. Even in 2025, there are still a bunch of young people who came back from city to hometown to celebrate Chinese New Year, and complain that women are the only one busy about cooking, cleaning, and so on. And when they come at the door, children will be banished, but never man. Now, let's travel through China's space and look for truth. A long time ago, women were in charge of raising children because of the ability to give birth, and men were in charge of hunting and farming because of the inability to give birth. And at that time, the goal of the species was to ensure the survival and reproduction. So all the production activity led by men was centered around reproduction, which led to women having higher status at that time. And with the rise of private property, men started to own assets, and people started to put more value on production. In this case, the purpose of having children shifted from just survival to increasing productivity. And this gender division of labor continued because of capitalism. You know,